Welcome back, guys. This is another episode of Girl, Is That Legal? With your legal bestie, Attorney Simone. And child, on Sundays, I try to reserve it for the Lord's work, but today we got to be a little messy because last night, Martell Holt and his girlfriend slash former mistress, Arrione, dropped a video in which they are interviewing a woman who is alleged to be one of Marsau's mistresses. And so I've been getting DMs, I've been getting messages. I had so many different questions about that. So let's just jump into it. Now, let me set this kind of up for you. I'm not going to play the whole video. We're going to watch excerpts of it as I break down some of the issues. Some of the questions we're going to get to today is, do I anticipate a defamation suit? Yes, no, why, or why not? And if so, from who? Okay, because there's a few people that are involved. Now, here's how this came about, right? Because context matters. It wasn't just Martell woke up and Arrione woke up one day being messy. Okay, well, let me roll it back so people can even know who Arrione is. I'm gonna put her on the screen. All right, Arrione is Martell's mistress. Now, what many people don't realize is Arrione and Martell have been together messing around for 10 years. Half of that time, at least around half of that time, he was married to Melody Holt. We're aware of that part. Now, what many people don't know is that when the show, okay, and this, I got this directly from cast members, I'm going to say, is that the show originally was Melody's idea. And no one can deny that. It was her idea. She spent her hard-earned money. She hired local film crews to follow them around. She selected the Scotts to also be on it. She put the money out to make this what it is today. So when many people are like, she act like it's her show. Well, the idea did come from her, right? So she paid this film production company to follow them around, to chronicle their lives and so forth. And it took about 2 years before Carlos King and or his production company came back and did what's called green lighting, meaning saying, all right, we're going to give this a shot. And then they re-recorded things using, because 2 years has passed, so many things are different. Well, in the course of time between when Melody originally started recording on her own, paying for cameras to follow behind them, and when it got greenlit by Carlos King to then be filmed and go forward, Melody and Martell had broken up. They were estranged. Under the law, we use the term estranged. Estranged meaning they were not living together. They were not living together. But when the show called and said, hey, we're going to take your show, they were like, oh, we better act like we like each other. We better get it together. And maybe they did like each other. I mean, they must have liked each other, right? Because there's a little baby. There's 2 babies involved. So they worked on their marriage. The show came back. The show was like, hey, this is love and marriage. Y'all better get back married. Not get back married, but so when that happened, they worked on their marriage. They moved back in together. So I will say part of Arrione's heartbreak is like at one point they were estranged and therefore she was messing with someone who was married but estranged. Most people don't care about that. Like marriage is marriage and not married is not married. So that's that. So I just want to give you that context. Then, so I say that to also say from the time that the camera started rolling on Martell and Melody, it was rocky. And then for years, other couples were referencing or were talking about Martell cheating. Everyone knew Martell was cheating, even Melody herself. Melody tells a story about confronting Arrione. Arrione references that she was aware. Arrione alleges that Melody was aware of her the whole time. So that's the backstory. That's also how Arrione comes into the picture. It's also relevant from the perspective of Melody was getting sick and tired of people acting like Martell and her were the only 2 people that had to deal with infidelity within their marriage. So frequently throughout the show, and I don't remember what year the show started. Was it 20? It hasn't been 7 years yet. Hold on. Was it 2019? Okay. Wait. When I'm gonna see. When did it premiere? When did Love and Marriage Huntsville premiere? Maybe 2019. Let me see. Yep, I was right. 2019, January of 19. Okay. Which means they started refilming in 18, so to speak. So Dang, that means Arrione and oh boy were messing around. Well, Martell himself says 10 years. So that means he's been messing with her since like 2015-ish. So messy. Yeah, the show did debut in 2019. All right. So fast forward now, child, Arrione and Martell. Now that Martell is no longer dealing with Cherie publicly or anyone else, him and Arrione are a public thing. Well, recently, one of the couples on Love and Marriage, Letitia Scott, okay? Letitia Scott is married to Marsau. And there have been strong rumors for years that Marsau has stepped out on Tisha. But Letitia has been saying, no, he hasn't. My husband hasn't cheated on me. No, no, no. And more specifically, about a week ago on the Carlos King show, Letitia came out and said that Martell has been gay, doing gay stuff with boys, and that she's got proof. As well as, secondly, Letitia has said that Martell did, in fact, share what's called revenge porn, or share porn, naked videos and stuff of his ex-wife, Melody, and show it to other men. How does she know? Her husband was allegedly one of the people who saw this. Well, honey, it is rumored that in turn, Melody hired the great Lisa Bloom to represent her as in Melody, in a lawsuit against her ex-husband, Martell, for showing those private videos. I don't care if that is your wife. And even if you do it at the time someone is your wife, you cannot, under any of the laws, show naked pictures of your wife to anybody that she has not authorized. Little stupid. I don't know why you would think that that's okay. I don't know why those things. Yes, hold on. Kenny Black is saying that karma comes back on dating married men. She will get it one day. Well, I'll never forget. I had one of the laughs of my life when she had posted, she, as in Arrione, posted to her social media, I'm done. Never have a baby by a married man. Girl, you just not figuring that out? He just did something, pissed you off today on a Tuesday. That's how you figure that out. Do not have a bastard baby, because bastard babies have hard lives. First of all my little bastard homegirls, okay, where their mamas was married to somebody else, they're like, my daddy never sees me, my daddy. It's because your mama was a hoe. No, your daddy doesn't see you because your daddy's over there with his wife. Now, my homegirl, I tell stories all the time, sidebar. I tell stories about my homegirl. Okay, right now, she's not my friend right now. She quit me, okay? She broke up with me. But my homegirl always is using men for their money. She can't buy a man. She's one of them girls who got to get pregnant to get a boyfriend, okay? And her mother was her father's mistress for like 27 years. And I will never forget, she was like, oh, I hate my stepmom. And I was like, stepmom? I was like, oh. I was like, why? She was like, she always got something to say about my mama. And I said, well, was she good to you? She said, yeah. I said, now, how long were your parents married? She said, well, me and my mom and dad were never married. I said, oh. I said, well, how long were she and your daddy married? She said, they're married to this day. I said, well, girl, that's why she didn't like your mama. She didn't like your mama because your mama was being fast with her husband. She not supposed to like your mama. Leave grown folks' business with grown folks. But that's also why, because her daddy was doing that stuff, because it's not just the mistress's fault, right? Because her daddy did that, and because her mama did that, and mama was a gold digger, clearly. Because her mama didn't care. Her mama didn't even have like another boyfriend, because her mama just liked the fact that this man was paying all the bills. So I said, this is why you don't have babies with other people's husbands, because their daughters come out like you. This is a whole problem, but that's probably why she's not my friend anymore. All right, so fast forward. I'm gonna start playing you some clips from this. I want to know in the chat. First of all, with this mistress, I want to know, do you believe her? Oh, Dana said the stepmama is a pick me. She not okay. So who she called her stepmom is the dad's wife. So the dad's wife, who he had 2 older children with, I don't feel like that's the pick me. The pick me is the woman who said, you can just put me up in this little apartment over here in the projects and pay my bills, and I'm not going nowhere. All right, let me set up this mistress and what this mistress got going on. Then we're gonna go into the law. So the mistress is allegedly 31 years old. Wait till you see her. Wait till you see her. I'm not body shaming, but I say I know a snowman that looks a lot like her. Okay. She's 31 years old. I think she said she was previously a dancer at one point, but I don't know what she does now. She has no kids. She would like to get married. She's originally from Huntsville, but presently lives in Atlanta. All right, here we go. Ocean Dreaming said, well, this whole interview was so dumb. Just come on because I never caught your, just came on because I never caught your live. I'm Veronica. Pleased to meet you and appreciate you. Thanks, Boo. Thanks, Ocean Dreaming. All right, here we go with this clip.
He's got that. Oh. Yeah, he couldn't do nothing without Maurice. Maurice always there. That was my first time having a dick in my mouth and a dick in my coochie. Kinky enough is brother.
That was actually one of the highlights. And just in case you didn't catch it, she said that was one of the first times in my life having a D in my mouth and a D in my Uchi. We're going to continue. We're going to continue.
The brother, Martell. You don't think? I didn't know that. He had like, he 30. He said, you tell a lot, I'm coming to you. Today we are sitting here with the beautiful Chantel. How are you?
All right. Now, I just want to, we have to acknowledge Arrione's glow up. Arrione has always been a pretty girl, but I'm just, I had to stop and chuckle at the Stepford wife look, just simply because, like, look, she's got the hair up. She's got two little tendrils. Like, she's not trying to give Mistress at all. She's trying to give I've been chose. And Martell is here in the middle, Martelling. Okay, this is the woman on the right. So, and one thing is, like, I hate that she really looked to the side most of the time, which wasn't flattering for the snowman reasons that I outlined before. But when she goes to the front, she's 31 years old. So she's, you know, younger than us or what have you. They're sitting there drinking his wine. This is her. Okay. And let's hear the introduction.
You're doing in the flesh, the receipt that you all were asking for. How are you doing today? I'm absolutely.
Now, Arrione is referring to this woman as the receipt that we've all been asking for. And my issue with this interview is what damn nary receipt involved. Here's what I consider a receipt. A receipt would be like, if in addition to you saying whatever you've experienced, you're able to be like, and here's a copy of the hotel room receipt, right? Because his wife knows what hotel he was at this or that time. And for you to be like, and here's a picture of Mia Dre's. Oh, and then, you know, someone can go to one of the brothers, what you call it, page, their Instagram page, right, back that same weekend and be like, oh, this is the boys at that same club. Oh, this is her showing herself at that same club. For me, those are the kinds of things that receipts. Y'all tell me. Y'all tell me what it is. Oh, yeah. Oh, JFE Network said she's not a mistress at all. She's his child's mother. Here's the thing. To say at all, I think it's maybe not accurate. She's not a mistress anymore. That's for true. And also, I've never heard her story. I don't know that she's ever had a platform to tell it because Melody has been very adamant that if they ever allow her on the show on Love and Marriage Huntsville, if they ever allow Arrione on, that Melody was going to quit the show. I don't know. Maybe this is the year for that because I feel like this season is about to be, needs to be like a wrap up season. Let's just kind of wrap up all the stories and go on to something else, maybe something else. But yeah, to say, and because as well, I don't know if when they started their relationship 10 years ago, whether that was during the estranged period when Martell and Melody were not living together. Married, yes, but not living together and preparing for divorce. I don't believe that they had filed. It was just preparing for divorce. Let me just say that. All right, so let's go back to this clip.
You're fucking amazing. All right.
That's that Inez one.
That's that Inez. Okay. So Chantel, tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? How old are you?
I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. I'm 31. I'm a Leo, been living in Atlanta for the past 10 years. And yeah, just enjoying life right now.
Okay, I love that for you. So I'm under the understanding that you got a little bit of information for me. So I'm here to get into it.
Now that I'm rewatching this, her as an Arrione's dynamic personality on camera, it's similar to Melody's. In different ways, similar in that they jump into the shot, they shine, they glow, all eyes are on me. And what you'll see is one of the annoying things to me about this interview is because we don't know Arrione. Arrione, we came here for the tea. But Arrione would frequently turn the conversation to her and Martell. I think she's just really excited for her and Martell to finally be able to be an out and about relationship. That she's like, "Oh, what were you doing, baby?" Da, 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 da. So here, I'm gonna speed this up a little bit. We're gonna do it 1.5 because I need y'all to see some of that.
So you know Marsau.
Mm-hmm.
How well do you know Marsau?
Very well.
Okay. Where did y'all meet?
Girl.
Where did y'all meet?
We met in a local bar.
Okay.
Huntsville?
In Huntsville.
Okay.
Okay.
And let's just say, since we met, we got to know each other very fast.
Very fast.
Very fast.
Now, what is your meaning when you say we got to know each other?
We hung out, we talked some shit, and then
Yeah.
You know, the
What?
energy be good. So
Yeah. Also, y'all kind
So that day that y'all met, y'all hung out that day? Oh, so did he approach you or did you approach him? Like, did you think he approached you?
Yeah.
Okay. So the same day you met him, y'all.
Not the same day, maybe like the next day.
Okay.
Like we met at night, we met at a local bar, so he had
She means they didn't do it to each other the day they met. They did it to each other the next day.
get home, I guess. I don't know, but I had to go home too. So we were just hanging out. The next day we went out.
Were both y'all in a relationship at this time?
I'm not sure 100% what he had going on at the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm completely single,
Okay.
living life, and I'm thinking this could be him.
Okay. So
She goes on to later say she didn't initially know that Marsau was married, but she started to put clues together when the only time he wanted to meet up was to do it to each other between 2 and 4 a.m. at his brother's office building. That was her clue.
you
Oh, so you was looking for a relationship, you were looking for marriage, you were looking to have some kids or somebody, all that good stuff.
okay.
Okay.
Just a suggestion, if you're looking for a relationship, you probably shouldn't meet someone in an office building between 2 and 4 in the morning, bent over office chairs and a boardroom-like furniture. Just my suggestion.
I thought that
He was giving those type of vibes?
yeah, like we was vibing so good. I really enjoyed the time that we spent. Like he made me feel good. He was
Really?
handsome.
So within 24 hours, y'all seen each other again.
He was handsome.
Martell, hush.
I'm sorry.
Hush. If that's why she
Oh,
feels.
no, I'm just asking. I just have to double take it.
Well, he acted to me now, but he was fine then. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. You know,
So you don't think he's handsome now?
No, he's a little smoother now than he was then because
ain't that smooth about the man.
Ain't that
He just know how to talk good.
oh, he got
Okay.
the mouthpiece.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay? So that really won you over.
Yeah.
Was the mouthpiece.
Yeah.
So within 24 hours of you meeting him, y'all seen each other again.
Mhm.
Okay.
He went in for the
So where did y'all see each other the next time?
At his business.
What business?
I can't remember the name of it. It's like credit something, but it's right off of university. He has his own business.
credit
And
one.
yeah, credit. Yes, that's absolutely
Yeah.
that. That's
So what does it look like in there, or what? Do you remember
Well, it was
anything?
different now. They just switched it up.
Okay, but
At
then
the time.
what was it?
Well, I know when you go in, they got this round table, different rooms.
Office building.
But we mostly talked and chilled at the round table
Okay.
and had our fun in the different rooms.
So within 24 hours, y'all was in another room having fun.
You know,
Okay, girl. I mean,
Was anybody else?
I'm not gonna judge.
Good.
off the rip, yeah.
Okay.
Who? If you don't mind me asking.
Maurice, and then another time, Maurice's brother.
Micah? They all look alike.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay. I mean, I'll let you.
So how many times, like, did you see Marsau?
A handful of times.
A handful of times.
I
Okay.
mean, it's like the length of your relationship.
Basically,
Okay.
yeah. It didn't. It lasts about a good few months, maybe about a year.
Okay.
On and off.
Okay. She's starting to hurt my head now. Okay. How do you say a relationship lasts about a few months to a year? Those are very different things. And then to say I saw you a handful of times. Here's what a hand is 5. A hand is 5. So if you're saying you saw this man a handful of times, it's about 5 times. Now, I suppose if you saw each other every other month, 6 every other month would be about 10 months. So I guess that's close to a year. Thank you. Grace My TV was saying, Shan, this girl here was in the picture with the guys on the guys trip in Vegas. So that's consistent and that makes sense. Now, let me tell you this. That to me, now that is a receipt. That's a receipt. So if this was my video, if I was Martell and Arrione, girl, if you want to be on TV, honey, you're going to have to learn to produce yourself. DM me, I can teach you. Seriously, I don't hold no grudges. Whatever them grown people got going on behind closed doors, that's what they got to deal with. But wait. Sapphire said, did I catch that she said the wrong brother's name? She said Micah, not Marsau. Well, his question was there anyone else there? And she's basically saying, yes, the other brothers over time, like different instances were there, and that those brothers were Maurice and Micah. So Marsau is who she was messing with. but the other two were also there. So I'm saying this. So what you'll see throughout this interview, the main gist is the main receipt was Martell. The reason I'm saying that is because she would frequently refer back and be like, well, you were there and da 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 and this and that. And so I would not be surprised if she was in fact in Vegas hanging out with them. Especially if she's part of that group photo, right? But I have to say, I have a level of suspicion as to whether or not she's telling the truth, simply because of the perspective. If Martell was there too, Martell could have fed her all of the things to say. For example, the correct hotel that they stayed at, because Martell stayed at that hotel. It was Caesar's Palace. So Martell could have been like, all right, here, you were the girl in the photo. I need you to do an interview with us. And here's what you're going to say. You're gonna eliminate me from most of the stuff. Throughout the interview, she was like, well, you would really kind of disappear a lot. I think you were gambling. You'd go off, you do this and that. And so, but I see someone saying it's the description of the offices, and that for some people, it's like, I feel like she's lying because the description is so generic. But we have to remember that office that she's referring to has been featured on the show many times. So that she could have gotten that from skimming an episode, or Arrione or Martell having watched the episode, or going to the office and being like, okay, here's how you describe what it looks like inside. Yep. Nisi D said, that's what I believe, that Martell fed her the information. Nisi D, wait, Scott Red said, S. Scott said, I think she was Martell's jump off too. So I just say, as you're processing whether or not you want to believe her, you got to consider the fact that because Martell was there, Martell could have given her all of the information in the chat. There's nothing like, oh, and he has a birthmark on his left butt cheek. There's nothing that is super unique to the facts like that. Now, she goes on and tells the story about one of the things that she disliked about Marsau is that he was cheap. I had to laugh because I'm pretty sure his wife hearing this would be like, who good? Any wife whose husband has to deal with infidelity, the one thing you want to know is that he ain't taking money from my household and tricking off on some other girls where we got to deal with less because this man is giving all our money away, right? And so here she's complaining about how cheap he was, including in Vegas, she needed some stuff, right? And first of all, in Vegas, she needed some stuff. She talks about them going to Ross Dress for Less, y'all. Dress for Less. If you've never been to one, that probably means you're not poor. Okay, Ross Dress for Less, I go all the time. It's a bargain basement store. It's like Big Lots, but for clothes. There's Marshalls, there's TJ Maxx, and then there's Ross Dress for Less. It looked like somebody just went to a garbage sale, just like a garage sale, and just threw some shit on some hangers, okay? And just said, here, poor people, go get some clothes, go. It's a little bit above like a Goodwill or Salvation Army because nobody else has worn those clothes or panties before. But Ross Dress for Less is where she went, and she's at the register checking out, and Marsau is not offering to pay for her stuff. So she talks about how she's grateful to Martell because Martell was like, say, man, you need to pay for her stuff. This girl flew out here to be with you. You could at least pay for her stuff. And so as a result, Marsau actually did buy her Ross Dress for Less panties that she had wanted up there. So that's sweet. Ocean Dream said, not only are you a lawyer, you're a detective too. I actually am. I am a licensed private investigator. So I can legally mind other people's business and do. Somebody said, not to be mean at all, but Martell sleeping with her would be possibly not like him. He's superficial and expressed that he values women who are fit/smaller. So she's not aligned with that. Well, I hear you, but this happened years ago. I think that Vegas trip, maybe 4 years ago, like if this show, that was 2019, 2020, it was like 21. So, I mean, we all looked a little bit different back then. So she was given less of a snowman and more of a snow bunny. I don't know. Wait, she couldn't afford Ross Dress for Less, apparently. Or she could have, but Martell was just saying, hey, it's common courtesy. You done imported this poo nanny. The least you can do is pay full price for her. Also, later down the line, she talks about how they ended, y'all. Okay, what did you hear this? This is how they ended. according to her, and then after this, I'm gonna get into the law. According to her, the way that they ended was after the trip, there were some expenses that she incurred because apparently Martell wasn't there to protect her, that she incurred, and she had told Marsau, like, hey, are you going to send me my money? He was like, money for what? And she was like, for the incidentals that I ended up having to pay for. He was like, what are you talking about? She was like, my bags, my this. So when I heard my bags, I said, ooh, that man put her on Spirit Airlines. Girl, that man hates you. He don't care if you arrive dead or alive. Don't let that man put you on Spirit Airlines ever again. Here's my thing. If you want to put me on Spirit Airlines, you better be sitting right next to me. That way, if we die together. Because I hate that. I hate that thing. I hate that airline. Ooh, you're not putting me on those Spirit Airlines and make me pay my baggage fees. You better take care of all of that. Because what she said was that whenever she would need money for things, that he would have someone else send it to her. And actually, Arrione co-signed it because she was like, oh, yeah, Martell, you used to do that too. That Martell, like if she needed, once she said, Arrione tells a story that one time while he was actively married, her car broke down and she needed to get her car fixed. So he had Maurice or somebody send her the money. And here's my thing. So you gonna get Maurice in trouble with Kimmy? Because if Kimmy sees that Cash App or whatever transaction, she's going to think it's for him doing something with her. I'm just giving an example of Kimmy. So it seems y'all all seem stupid and sloppy because it seems like if anything, have your sister or a female send it to her. Otherwise, you getting one of your buddies in trouble too. But you know what? All y'all need to be in trouble if that's what you've done. Like I said, I'm afraid to fly talking about Spirit Airlines just because of the name alone. Let me tell you something. Spirit Airlines is the Planned Parenthood of the skies. Okay. The Planned Parenthood of the skies. What I mean by that is with Planned Parenthood, it's never anybody's first choice, right? You don't go up in there because you're like, ooh, this is the greatest doctor's gynecology office. And no, you go there because you're poor or you made poor life decisions. Okay. And this is all you got. This is your best bet. This is all that you can afford. Same thing with Spirit. Nobody goes on Spirit Airlines because they're like, oh, this is an amazing airline. You go on Spirit because it's your last choice. It's your last chance. Okay. You got to get to your destination. You got limited fixed income. So you're like, F it. I guess it's going to be Spirit. Same thing. Every time I walked into that Planned Parenthood office, I'm like, God damn it. Me and my bad decisions. F it. I guess it's going to be Planned Parenthood. And you go from there. That's all I'm saying. Planned Parenthood of the skies. Don't do it. Don't do it. Not at all. All right. So she goes on to say the reason that they broke up, that she broke up with Marsau was in here. I'm gonna fast forward and let me see if I can let you hear it in her words. 1 second.
So when I got back to Birmingham, I contacted him like, hey, is you gonna see my money? And he was like, what you mean, what money? And so I decided, also keep in mind, I had a feeling he was involved with somebody, but I didn't know what it was. I decided to look this man up.
Okay.
I never did the whole relationship because he didn't give me a reason to. So I looked it up and I'm like, you're married.
He is, man. Okay.
So I'm like, okay, y'all want to send your money? My money, my $200-300, I'm gonna tell your wife. He threatened me. He said, if you tell my wife, I'm gonna come kill you.
He said that?
No, he really did. He threatened my life. And I was like,
that's a good man. That's what he's supposed to say. Just don't actually kill her, okay? Because if it was my husband, I would be angry that now you about to embarrass me and we about to be on Dateline because you don't know how to pick somebody who don't get aggravated over $300. Also, let me tell you something else. If you're going to cheat, you better have some money. If you cannot afford to cheat, leave that to rich people. Poor people, stop cheating. Cut it out because that's how you get chicks like this angry. Cut it out. You're being sloppy. Ew.
Did that scare you?
He don't play about teach a little linebacker ass.
Oh, what you said?
He don't play about teach a little linebacker ass.
might sound like this is my money. We ain't gotta worry about
Arrione is angry. She is up here standing up for her man. She is standing up for her man. But I think Arrione is upset with respect to Tisha because Tisha also made statements about like Arrione over the years has been called coleslaw, has been called a number of things. Honestly, I would love to do an interview with Arrione and just like hear the real deal from her side. I say that because I believe Martell was lying to everybody. He was lying to his wife. We know that. And the reason I think he was lying to the both of them is because Arrione had her baby, but Melody also has a young baby. She's got like a little gap between, I think she calls the youngest one Sugar Mama. But that baby, like, frequently when people are estranged and you get back together, you have a child because you're like, okay, things are working together, right? And then, so I say that to say he's clearly telling Arrione one thing. He's probably telling Arrione, oh, this is just for the show. This is just for the show. Don't worry. It's not real. It's just for the show. And then here you go, popping out this baby. And then Arrione's like, wait a minute. I want my turn. Because Arrione apparently, there's an alleged version of the story that Arrione had gotten pregnant by Martell previously. And he suggested that she not keep it. So she didn't. And then the second time she got pregnant, she was like, I'm sick of this, you immature fool. So now we're going back. I just want you to hear the end of the clip with Shan talking about how Marsau told her, I'm going to kill you if you tell my wife about us over this $200-$300. And then now here's what happened.
Shit. Eventually he said, but he had somebody go through the process to me because this whole thing has been his no name situation as far as my flight and everything else. So somebody had to send me the coins. But like,
also, you got the money that you left.
But I had his to tell his wife, he's like, you tell my wife, I'm gonna kill you. Like I thought this shit was so fucking funny. Like you got me fucked up.
Because you took him as a joke.
I thought this shit was funny.
But
all right, so she got her money the next day. Let me tell you, one of the services that I offer, this is time for a good segue. Now let's go. Segue to SimoneRedwine.com. That's my website, guys. You can come here, order my ebook, Background Checks 101, Beginner's Guide to Determining Who the Heck You're Really Dealing With. I teach you how to run background checks. I teach you what websites I use, what free resources you can use, so forth. And then you come up to the top here and put book or hire Simone. All right. Here, starting at simply $149, you can get a 30-minute consultation with me on whatever your legal issue is across the nation. But let me tell you, one of the ones when I first started practicing that I enjoyed doing, it was women who were dating different athletes or entertainers who owed them money. They fly them out and then tell them, oh, yeah, okay, I'll cash app you. And then the cash app never hit. Oh, baby, I was real good. I write that letter. And I used to tell them girls, I said, now, ma'am, after I write this letter, it's going to be so strong on my letterhead and all of this. And it's going to threaten to tell media takeout and the shade room and the this and the that to where he's never going to talk to you again. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with getting your $1,000 but never speaking to this man again? And they'd be like, yes, ma'am. Yes, Miss Redwine, I am. Or yes, Attorney Redwine, I am. I said, okay. Everybody got their money. Everybody in those instances, everybody got their money within 48 hours. So needless to say, so let's go on back to what we were talking about. Going back to our little clip. Here we are. All right. So she goes on to conclude and basically, okay. This is important. Arrione was mad that Melody wouldn't leave Martell and was harassing her and exposing details on live social media. Here is my thing. Can we please talk about that? Charmaine, I really, really, really believe you because you got Martell that's likely saying in her ear, like, oh, we're not really together. I cannot tell you how many of my reality shows, since I was on a reality show back in 2020, how many of my reality show homegirls have told me about instances where they've dated a guy only to find out the guy was unfaithful and that his line that he was using to other women he was dating is, oh, we're not a real relationship. We're for the show. So I believe you, Charmaine. I believe that is likely what happened. In addition, Charmaine, excuse me, whenever these girls get to playing on my phone, here's the thing, ma'am. If you want to come, so I dated, I didn't even date. No, I simply knew this guy who was a Vegas promoter. He was a Vegas promoter. I literally was calling him to get table service and everything set up for a girls trip to Vegas. And when I went to Vegas, I was calling him at like 1 a.m. because he was setting up the service. So I get back home, his girlfriend called me playing on my phone, telling me, why are you calling my man at 1, 2 a.m? I said, excuse me? I said, ma'am, get off my phone. Get off my phone. And now, because I wasn't doing anything with him, I said, let me tell you something. Just because you got the plan on my phone, now I'm going to deal with him for at least 3 to 4 more pay periods. Just because you done played on my phone. Get off my phone. Furthermore, you've dated a man who works in the nightlife, so you either need to get another man or you need to get some self-confidence and get off my phone. And then I went and I told him because I didn't really like him. But one thing that I've noticed is the women, like how Arrione was like harassing her and they're calling her, the women that call your phone and do all of that, they'll never leave that man. And I knew this one girl, bless her little heart. When I first moved to Houston, I started dating this guy. Come to find out he was dating another girl, and the two of us ended up meeting because he invited me to a club, and she ended up coming with her girlfriends and was there too. And once I got there, he kicked her off the table, had security take her away and all of this. And so she started acting belligerent. And I just remember hearing her say, "You do this to me all the time. You're always wasting my time. I've given you so many years." And I was like, oh. Me and her and ultimately went to brunch because for some reason I ended up being friends with my ex's exes. And she told me, similar to Arrione, this girl told me that her strategy, because she felt this man he was 38 years old. He was retired from Wall Street. He was a millionaire and he had various assets. I ain't going to say too much because people who know me know which one I'm talking about. That was the crackhead I dated who flew me to Costa Rica for Valentine's Day. Anyway, she told me her strategy was to be the last woman standing. And as she grew up, her mother was basically like a jump off for rappers on Rap-A-Lot Records. And so she grew up with a bunch of like instability, and she never wanted financial instability in her life. And so she felt like she was just going to be the last woman standing because she knew that man was so full of crap that she felt like other women would just give up on him and leave. And then therefore she could be the last woman standing. And then he would marry her and start a family with her. And then he would do whatever he was going to do. She knew that. That's what she said. But that it didn't matter to her as long as he was taking care financially, everything. And I had to tell you, she's Latina, and that's not the first Latina homegirl I've had who has told me that at the end, as long as he's paying the bills and creating financial stability, she's not going anywhere. Whew. So I'll say, if you in a love triangle with one of those, and I would argue that it sounds like Arrione may be one of those who's like, I'm going to be the last woman standing. Baby, run, because everybody's about to be on Dateline. If Arrione don't kill you, something Martell is doing well. So, finally, let's get into the law. Y'all, this is the pretty little alleged mistress right here. So let's get into the law. People are like, what may happen? Now, number one, I say this all the time. You should not be messy like this, doing this type of interview, doing this and that, unless you have your defamation insurance in place. So I hope and I pray for Martell's sake that he called his insurance carrier, who does his general liability insurance for his businesses, and or if he does podcasting, I don't know what they got going on, and told them, hey, could you add defamation coverage? Defamation coverage actually can be part of your personal injury coverage. It's considered injury to the reputation of a person. Who knew? And so I don't play around about that. I always keep defamation insurance. That's why if someone calls you or if someone tries to sue you, what happens is, just like if you're in a car accident, you just pay your little $500 deductible and be like, my lawyer's gonna handle you. Pat, 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 pat. And your lawyers are going to paper them to death if you didn't do it. And if you did do it, your lawyers are going to negotiate a settlement. You'll pay they will pay the settlement, and you are only out of pocket your deductible. So in Tasha K's instance, if Tasha K's lawyers, if she had hired me, I would have said, hey, boo, don't do no more stories till you get your defamation insurance in place. Because one day somebody finna sue you. And when they do, you're going to pay your little $500 deductible, and you will not have to be hiding assets over there in Africa. Now, secondly, who can sue? There's Marsau, and there is also Maurice. Because in the opening clip, when she talks about, I ain't never had one in my mouth and one in my, vajiggle jaggle. She's talking about the brothers. Now, we already know. Now, one of the brothers, Maurice is a lawyer now. Not only that, Maurice has already sued other bloggers for defamation. So he's not afraid to sue nobody for defamation. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see coming up a defamation suit at a minimum. I actually would say from Maurice. Because here's the standard. Legally, a lot of bloggers misunderstand and think that if you're interviewing someone And as long as you, the blogger, haven't said it, as long as it's just the interviewee who says whatever it is that's untrue, that you're good. Nope, not true. And here's why. Under the defamation standard, there is the standard for the person who's saying it, and then there's the standard for the media outlet that is repeating it. For the blogger who is repeating it, you have a responsibility to do your due diligence to find out if this allegation is true. Y'all, that's how come every single time you see a serious news interview accusing somebody of a crime, they always at the end of it, they'll say, we contacted so-and-so for comment. At the time of our airing this broadcast, they have not responded with a comment. You've seen that, right? That's because you have a responsibility to tell both sides. He has not done that. You cannot hide behind the fact, well, I'm just a blogger, I'm just a YouTuber. No. And you can't hide behind saying, in this instance, you can't say, oh, well, I know he would deny it if we were to ask him. You have to go to him and specifically say, we are doing this story on you. This woman is claiming that you did X, Y, and Z. What is your comment? Oh, I shouldn't do this because it makes me think about what she said she was doing. You have to say, and what's your comment? And then allow them to say, my comment is hell no, that is lying, or whatever it's going to be. That didn't happen here. That didn't happen. Or at a minimum, if you haven't reached out to that person yet, have something scrolling across the screen at the bottom that says, Marsau and Martell vehemently disagree and deny these allegations. If they did that, they could be covered. They could be Gucci. They could be good. But that's not juicy. So they're about to get these YouTube views and they might get sued. I say might, because the other thing is, we all know the defense to defamation is the truth. Therefore, the defense to defamation is the truth. Therefore, if this did happen, if she was, for example, Marsau's mistress for some months and things like that, then Marsau don't do none of that. Don't do that. Now, here's the thing. I don't believe that she continues to have many receipts at all. The reason I say that is if she did, they would have been part of this broadcast. It would have been part of this. And therefore, I don't think she still has any of it. And at the end, I think of the two brothers, so there's Marsau and there's Maurice. Of the two brothers, Maurice absolutely would have the easier claim to prove. And because of how much his businesses mean to him, he likely would file it based on the fact that she's alleging that his office is this sex dungeon that she's referring to. So that's defamatory, not just towards him, but toward his business. And who could be sued? Shan, Martell, and Arrione. All of them. Yeah, using allegedly helps. Using allegedly does help, because it allegedly says this is just this lady's version of the story. The problem is this. Because Martell was there too, Martell is acting as though all of these are facts. Martell never uses the word allegedly. And so by Martell proceeding as though all of these are facts and that he is actually acting as a co-signer by continuing to talk about how he was there too, he's really wiping his behind up into this mess. It says, which is why Piers Morgan took that interview down. It absolutely is. So what that girl is referring to is there was an interview with Jaguar Wright on the Piers Morgan show where Jaguar is accusing Jay-Z of doing a number of things, of violent things towards women, kids, and I think herself included. And Jay-Z's lawyer sent a cease and desist and said, take this down, and they did. And they did, because they never, and throughout the interview, they actually said, Jay-Z's not here to defend himself. We have not reached out to Jay-Z and received a comment. They continue to say that. All right, Charmaine is saying, Maurice may be a lawyer, but he is being sued for $105 million for obtaining bloggers' information without the bloggers being served and identity theft. You know what, Charmaine? Thank you for mentioning that. I'm going to pull that up. I believe that that is a counterclaim related to the original claim that Maurice filed against the bloggers. So I will pull that up and we can go through all of it, honey. Yes. So here we go. Great question. Will this affect his current cases he has going on with his ex-wife? Can they use this against him? Can Arrione finally be charged? So as of now, there's nothing criminal going on regarding Arrione. So no, nothing for Arrione to be charged. With respect to the cases that Martell has going on with his ex-wife, because the divorce is, okay, so if the divorce was still pending, then Melody could use a lot of this chitter chatter innuendo stuff to prove the infidelity and use that to get a larger slice of the pie. So, generally with the divorce, the resources, as in the assets, are expected to be split 50-50. But when it's found that, like in this instance, that the husband was cheating, then instead of getting 50-50, wife may be able to get 60 or 70 or some other percent. But because the divorce is done, then no. Here, she could use some of these allegations to go towards his vindictiveness, his pettiness, those things. Because remember, this was triggered because last week, Letitia Scott, the wife of the man this woman is the alleged mistress to, the wife said Martell was gay. But here's my big kicker. Sir, what this got to do with you being gay or not? Because two things can be true. You can be gay and Marsau can be a cheater. Both of them can be true. You can be gay and he could be cheating. So this really has done nothing but show just how low some people can stoop. Is Martell gay? Oh my, I don't know. I mean, he's just like a metrosexual, but I mean, some people like that. I like that little turtleneck. His boobs look big as mine. It becomes a criminal case when he showed Melody's porn video, and Letitia admitted he showed the yes. So you're right. That component of it is criminal. The S tape video. Oh my God. Make it make sense that Martell's breasts look like they could use a lift. I'm going to agree there. And apparently Martell also showed some video of Arrione getting a BBL or the after of the BBL. So they should have double teamed them. She got the BBL and he got the titty work. What do they call that? It's a certain word for when you take away a man's titties. So that's probably what should happen. Defamation insurance. Yes. All YouTube. Oh yeah. Like literally defamation insurance is literally like an extra $10. Most people don't know that. It is like extra. I will not tell you all of the bloggers that I love. I tell them, I scream from the mountaintops. I even have an agent. If you're in the state of Texas, I have an agent I can refer you to. She will get you right. So there you go. So in the end, what I anticipate is this: legally, I do not believe that Marsau is going to file a lawsuit against that girl. I don't see that, because I do believe that elements of what she said was true. And I believe that Martell would support her version of the facts, the Mistress Shan, we're going to call her that. Like, Madam President, Mistress Shan, that Martell would support her view, that she's going to have receipts or evidence of perhaps an email of her Spirit Airlines ticket going to Vegas during this time. Perhaps some pictures to her Facebook of her at the Caesars or other things that will corroborate that he flew her out and they were doing stuff. And by he, I'm specifically saying Marsau. So I don't anticipate Marsau would file defamation, but I would not be surprised. I'm sorry, I said Maurice. Yeah, I would not be surprised if Maurice, the one that's married to Kimmy, if Maurice says, I done sued somebody for defamation before, I'm going to add you to the list, little girl. And I would strongly encourage it, because if she really didn't have your D in her mouth and the other man's D in her bottom, then you might want to defend your honor, sir. Because that sounds stinky. Yeah, but overall, they came with no receipts. Unique Monique, hey girl, they came with no receipts, no airline ticket. The interview was a joke. That's the thing. Also, listen, Ariane, if you're gonna swoop in here, right, and you're gonna be the madam, the grand dame of, the Martell Holt Enterprises, you gotta think for your man. You got to think for you, and you got to think for your man. See, and in doing so, when there's an interview like this, ma'am, it's your responsibility to be like, this is a list of receipts, ma'am. Before we sit down with you, I need you to email us these things. There's got to be, baby. Most people keep their Google, Yahoo, Hotmail, whatever the hell you got. Keep that bad boy for 10 years. You can search in that email and be like Las Vegas Spirit Airlines ticket 2020 or whatever year it was, 2021, and pull that bad boy. You done went up in there to Ross Dress for Less. Go pull your Bank of America or what is it, Wood Forest? That's ain't that the credit union that's in the Walmart? That's for the people with the bad credit. Girl, go pull your Wood Forest bank statements of how you had to pay for your bags and whatever else you're referring to that you had told this man, you needed to be repaid for and reimbursed for. Get that Wood Forest credit union receipts. The Scott's sister also works at Credit One. Let me see. What's it saying? It says Martell didn't pull out his phone with receipts like he does with Melody. No hotel receipts. Nothing. Bring the mess TV said she's an airhead. She don't know any better. Well, I would believe that. Y'all know Wood Forest. Y'all know about, y'all act like Marcel and Maurice ain't cheating. Oh no, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, now I don't have any evidence of them cheating, but what I'm saying is, if you listen to Dana Gee, what I was saying I don't think Marsau is going to file a defamation suit, but I do think Maurice would, because I think Maurice would have more proof. Western Union, has anyone gone to check the clerk report to see how many filings Maurice has done since he's become an attorney? I have not. No, that's it. All right. So, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts below. Do you believe her? Do you believe Marsau, who says he's never cheated? Do you think it's something in between the two? But we're going to stay tuned. I think if there's going to be a defamation suit, it will be filed in the next month. So I would say before the end of January, if it's going to happen. But I also say, what do you guys think this is going to mean for the show? And do you think that it's time for Carlos King to step in and be like, hey, guys, enough is enough? Make it make sense. Did the mistress confirm if she actually has a top row of teeth? Because I don't think that she does. Oh, I don't know. And see, he's not going to buy her no veneers. He's not. That's the thing. Like, if you're going to be a mistress, why would you do that for a poor person? Don't be giving away your coochie to a poor person. You keep that in your pocket. Because if other men, you do those kind of nasty girl things, they're not about to support that. All right, let me get out of here. Let me know your thoughts below. Is it time for Carlos King to intervene? And if so, what should he do, if anything? All right, thank you guys. I'm your legal bestie, Attorney Simone. Feel free, go to SimoneRedwine.com to book a consult with me starting at only $149 for 30 minutes anywhere in the nation. Take care.